Toronto FC have finally made an honest-to-God actual signing. Theo Corbeanu has been brought in on loan from Granada in Spain. It has been a long offseason for Toronto FC. Since we were eliminated in early October, not a single player has been brought into this club with the exception of the MLS Super Draft and a trade for Andrade, who we then sent off to Japan for money. So TFC fans were eagerly awaiting who the first signing of this offseason was going to be for Toronto FC. And the answer is a familiar name to many of us, Theo Corbeanu. Corbeanu is a 22-year-old winger. He made 7 appearances for the Canadian national team in 2021 and 2022, scoring 2 goals in those 7 appearances, and he has spent most of his career so far bouncing around Europe, having spent a couple of years in the Wolves Academy, actually making 1 appearance for the Wolverhampton Wanderers in the Premier League in the 2020-21 season, but he never cracked the Wolves' first team with any regularity after only that 1 appearance, spending the rest of his time mostly on loan spells to League One, the Championship, the German Second Division, and the Swiss Super League. Midway through the 2023-2024 season, he left Wolves and signed with La Liga side Granada, where he made 9 appearances in the back half of last season, scoring 1 goal, although his addition was not enough to help Granada stave off relegation, as they ended up being relegated at the end of last season, and this season he has been in the Spanish Second Division with Granada, picking up some minutes there. However, he has now been sent back to Canada on loan with Toronto FC for the entirety of the 2025 season, with an option to buy at the end of 2025. And this is a homecoming too for the young winger, as between 2016 and 2018 he was in the Toronto FC Academy, actually playing for Toronto FC 3 in the 2018 League One Ontario season. So what are we getting of Corbeanu? A young winger who's been touted as having a lot of potential, a guy who's decent at dribbling the ball, good at getting forward, a guy who's showcased he can score goals for Canada. He scored more goals for Canada in his 7 games than Liam Miller has in 35. And at 22, he still is very young, still has a boatload of potential to grow and develop with an MLS side. Now, this is a guy who I think Toronto FC is expecting him to come in and make an instant impact this season. And honestly, he's at the level where he should be making an instant impact in MLS. I'm very curious to see what he can do in a full season in Major League Soccer. This is a very important time in his career. This is probably the most important loan spell of his entire career right here, because this is kind of the make or break moment. You're 22 years old, turning 23 this year. You're passing the point where you're a young prospect and reaching the age where you should be a regular professional player. And so this is him now on loan. He has a chance to go on loan to Toronto FC and prove that he's a solid player at the MLS level, or even a strong player at the MLS level, and get him back to Granada next season, where hopefully they're re-promoted, or if they're still in the 2nd tier, he can be an impact player there, or get his buy clause triggered from the loan option and stay at Toronto FC as a key player here. Now that's the best case scenario for Corbeanu. Worst case scenario is he fumbles in MLS and then at the end of his loan goes back to Granada and they don't want him because he doesn't even prove himself in MLS, and then he kind of bounces around. And in addition, there's also the opportunity to him here in Toronto to reassert himself as a choice option for the Canadian national team, and especially playing in MLS this summer, there's a real opportunity for him to get called up to that Gold Cup squad this summer and really establish himself as a true option for Canada on the wing. Now, it's going to be interesting to see what the plan is for him at Toronto FC, because right now the wings are occupied by Insigne and Bernardeschi, and Theo Corbeanu is the type of guy who, bringing him into MLS right now, you assume that you're not bringing him in to not be a starter. So does that mean one of Insigne and Bernardeschi are gone? Or is this purely TFC assuming that the combination of Insigne and Bernardeschi are going to miss so many games that you need a 3rd starting caliber winger just to make up for the matches that they miss? Which is entirely possible. But even if we keep both the Italians, Corbeanu is a very, very nice piece of depth to have. And if we don't keep both of them, well, I think that Corbeanu is at an age and he's at a level in his career where really he should be a strong starting winger in Major League Soccer. He should be a contributor on a competitive team in Major League Soccer. From the pedigree he had, from the hype he had, from where he was touted to be 2 years ago, he should be, at this point, a starting caliber player every game in Major League Soccer. This is one of those moves, it's a 22-year-old guy where this is both for right now and for the future. Is he has to help Toronto FC right now, and if he does that, we can trigger the buy clause and keep him around for a few more seasons and then sell him back out to Europe for a profit. At the age that he is, anything is possible, but he has to perform this season. He has to be a solid contributor, and especially for him to succeed, Toronto FC needs to get a striker, because if Theo Corbeanu comes in and he's on the wing and he's sending balls into no one in the middle, he's not going to have a good season, and it's not going to be good for his career, and we're not going to be able to fully utilize him, and the addition of him isn't going to be super helpful. It's another solid move for Toronto FC, a solid right now third choice winger, and a guy who I would not mind being a starting winger if one of the Italians happened to leave. But again, another signing that's good, but is not the key signing that this team needs right now. And that still is a true bona fide striker who's going to score 15-ish goals in Major League Soccer a season. That being said, Theo Corbeanu is a very, very good first pickup for Toronto FC this offseason. And if this is the type of move that Jason Hernandez is going to be making this season for Toronto FC, and he makes a couple more moves of this level, young players who are both helpful for now and for the future if we keep them around, that's ideal. That's what we need. That's what we haven't had in the past. And so a signing like this is very, very positive, and hopefully we can make more like it, because a few more of these and a few more different positions and we're starting to field a competitive team in Major League Soccer. So that is for this video. As always, if you'd like to hit like, if you want to see more of my stuff, hit subscribe. Follow my Twitter, link is down below in the description, and I will see you next time.